Boys and girls, today we are going to be working on a winter tree project, kind of doing something a little different than studying our artists. I know when these go on Artsonia, your parents get a notification, and it might be fun for them for the Christmas season to have something that you've made that looks a little bit like winter or Christmas. So, when you sit down, you are going to be taking a look at this idea sheet that has all these wonderful tree ideas, and it shows you how to draw them. The gray parts show where you're going to be painting, and the black is where the line designs will go. If you look at this example, you'll see that the trees are side by side. Notice here that the person, it's not me, is drawing away on there, but when they go to do their second tree, they avoid having it overlap at all. It is perfectly wonderful if you wanted to have your tree coming from the very, very bottom. Do you see that? Going very, very tall to the tippy top of the paper. Nice tall trees are great. And then I love how she puts those up there near the top to look like those trees are off in the distance. Now, when I did mine, I kind of wanted to have mine be where the trees overlap a little bit. I did start pretty low to the bottom of the paper. So you'll see that I'm using the idea sheet to do this kind of wonky, tippy-toppy kind of looking tree. And I have my bottom, the stump going on there. But I want you to see that when I go to start this next tree, I'm making it look ever so slightly like it's coming behind that first tree. You're going to see on this next one, I'm going to do it even more. Notice that when I hit that other tree, whoop, stop. Because I want it to look like that one is behind the one with all of the branches. This one I'm getting even more daring. I'm having those little teardrop looking parts of my trees tuck behind the kind of upside down ice cream cone tree. Here I'm doing some of those little trees off in the distance, which are always fun to fill in there. But I'm about to do one more tree, and notice there again that I had it look like it's going behind the one from before. Like I said, it's up to you. You get to decide. You're going to have fun making tall trees, short trees, things like that. If you look on here, you'll see that they're using liquid watercolor, and they're just quickly using one color at a time to fill in their Christmas tree. Kind of going around like where I showed you on the idea sheet where the gray part was. On some of those that don't have an edge, you just kind of make up where the edge of the tree is. But I want to slow that concept down and explain this to you. These are liquid watercolors. They're extremely concentrated bits of colored liquid. You're first going to take a brush and dip it in the water and then just kind of brush it on the edge. And when you dip it in, you are hardly going to have any of that pigment on there. Because when you start to color on your paper, this will be some of the most intense color you've ever used. If you've ever used like food coloring or something like that at home for frosting or something, you'll see that it's the same type of thing. It's a very, very concentrated bit of color. But please notice that every single time, I always rinse out my brush. Now here, I'm using some of the liquid watercolor to do the top of my tree. I rinse out my brush, I go into a darker green. Now I'm going down there. And where they meet in the middle, I'm going to rinse my brush again to just encourage those two colors to move into each other. I'm even rinsing my brush and picking up some of that teal color or blue-green to make the bottom a little bit darker. I rinse my brush again. I sort of imagine the edge of my tree right there. And I'm going to go around there and fill that up. This time I left it kind of that one fuchsia color, but if in a minute I could rinse my brush and add a little bit of purple to it. Here you can see some kids who are working earlier, and here I love how they're putting two colors and just letting them blend just a little bit. Now if you find that you used a little bit more water than you thought and it looks really wet on there like it's about to drip, all you need to do is take a paper towel and roll it up and then just touch the edge of it to that wet part and it will dry it out. Some kids wanted to have like a snowy ground. Just notice here that after you finish, you can always come in. Just don't draw a line through the trees. You're always going to go up to the tree stop, draw to the tree stop, draw to the tree stop. At the very end, you may fill in the color of your choice. You could do a couple colors, or you could use that kind of silvery paint that I have for you in the middle. But at the very end, I'm going to give you some salt, and you're going to sprinkle it only on the parts that are of the background. When it dries out, you can see how cool that looks. It's not going to look like it right away. You're going to think it's that salt's just sitting there. I need more salt. But no, you don't. You just are going to sprinkle it on every single part of your background. And then as it dries, probably even after you leave, it's going to look really cool. I can't wait to see your wonderful winter tree paintings. Have fun.